Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 13.68, The Exorcist Part 4. We are back.
Ooh, we are back. Shall we jump just straight into it?
Yeah, sure.
Despite the name of Palatine's ability, there was a difference between ignoring something and true ignorance. True ignorance was born of never knowing something at all. To ignore something was to disdain it and choose not to grace it with your acknowledgement. The key to that, however, was that you needed to notice something before you could ignore it, before you could even think of ignoring it. And in the moment that Palatine pierced Dragon's chest, it had no reason to think there was anything on the inside it needed to ignore. It had felt it, after all. It had felt Dragon's heart be torn apart against the tip of its fingernail. It had felt the drumbeat cease and the meat turn cold. Palatine had ended many lives. It was exceedingly familiar with the sensation. That familiarity was what Dragon Hadrian had challenged. Gemini World deployed with desperate precision, recording Dragon's heart at the exact same moment it was struck. And with such perfect timing that Palatine couldn't tell that the organ had been recorded, not destroyed. In any other scenario, this maneuver would have been a master stroke. In this dark and cold place, it was little more than a stopgap. Palatine was one to play with its food, after all. Oh my god, he's just like Skipper, he recorded his heartbeat. And Dragon just like, heartbeat shotgun.
I am boring, man.
This guy, his eyes start blazing
Skipper,
with gook.
I did as you said. I made the
With-
stick.
His eyes blaze with sapphire light. Heartbeat shotgun, but he just throws his heart at
It's
you.
like, I haven't seen someone this powerful since A Star. The one who got
I would
out,
quite like to be a star. A deep and warbling giggle oozed out of its empty eye socket, and the awakening reached out with its horse hand. The jaws of the implement were wide open and ready to crunch down greedily. Palatine wished to feast upon cogitant meat tonight. 2 seconds. Dragon knew. Dragon could tell. Excuse me. It would take 2 seconds for that horse head to clamp down around his temples and squeeze. It would take 2 seconds before his brain was sent spraying out of his nose as paste, the cavern painted with his blood. It would take 2 seconds before his twitching corpse was tossed away, a headless remnant. Remnant?!
Remnant?
Palatine wasn't expecting that. Dragon's monarch
Palatine
remnant.
is basically a remnant.
If you think about it. That is what an awakening is. It would take 2 seconds before everything ended. It would take 2 seconds before he died. It would take 2 seconds before he lost. I really love that losing to him is bigger than dying. I think it really speaks to his character. He had played all his cards. He had used all his moves. Right now, even moving was beyond him. A single twitch was heaven's dream. All he could do was hang there, limp as a doll, and pray. Pray to the one that saved. Pray to the one that healed. Pray to the grand panacea. Pan poked the shade in the shoulder. "Hey," she said. "Hey, you sure you don't want to die, dead man?" "I don't want to die," the spirit mumbled, head buried in its knees. "I don't want to die."
Dragon's like,
Maybe it's not... Maybe it's not that bad, though. Are you scared of being a dead guy? I don't think dead people feel anything, so you don't have to worry about that. Wow, stress goes zero. Being dead is cool, actually, right? "I don't want to die, though," Pan grumbled, throwing herself onto the ground and sitting next to the shade. From here she had a perfect view of the vile horizon, the oozing ring of meat and pus that surrounded all existence, the lines that all humanity had to be drawn inside. "If dying was going to hurt you," Pan ventured, "that happened already, right? So worst is over. Can't be in pain anymore after you get killed." The shade quietly sobbed to itself. Pan tightened her grip on the ground beneath her, feeling what might have been sand slipping under the fingernail she'd imagined for herself. "I was scared of pain once," she said, voice drifting across the newfound desert. "There was a lot of pain, and even though I was used to it, I was scared of it. I got so scared that I got angry. But it was never the dying I was scared of. Just the hurting. Once pain is finished, there's nothing else to be scared of. It's almost over." "But if you were born," Pan gulped, "then you're going to die. Even me, probably. That's the deal, hmm? You are allowed to appear, so someday you've got to disappear as well." "I don't want to die." "Me neither," Pan smiled. "Nobody does, I think. They just want pain to stop." She turned her head to look at the shade. "I bet you want pain to stop, huh?" "I'm not in pain," the shade whispered. "I just don't want to die." Pan shook her head. "Not your pain, dead man. You're hurting other people. A water guy got shredded, you know. It was messed up. I don't think you're bad, but something's using you to hurt other people. Something's turned you into a heart, and you're beating for it. It's no good. The fingers of the shade loosened their grip on its knees just a tad. It was silent for a good while, and then... Still, I don't want to die. Pan blinked. Do you want to kill? It looked at her. If nothing is changing, Pan explained calmly, the thing you've turned into will keep killing people, keep hurting people. I know because I was the same dead man. I turned into a thing that hated everyone. My friend saved me, but... She took in a deep breath. I don't think you can be saved, friendo. I don't think you even exist anymore. Not really. Sorry. The shade's voice broke as it insisted one last time. I don't want to die. Pan smiled sadly. I know. But you died a long time ago, I think. Years and years now, I think. Wind whistled. Leaves fell. Insects buzzed. I think it's time to accept it, okay? Wind stopped, leaves vanished, insects never were. Like a painting rotting away, the shade's mouth vanished, and a sigh killed the silence. For the briefest moment, as she floated in a void that had lost its mandate, Pan tasted something she'd never experienced before. Was it sympathy with the faded ghost, or something that bloomed anew from her own soul? She couldn't say exactly, but she knew what this emotion was. In the darker times, she'd often wondered how it would feel. Pan breathed the sensation in. Quiet, but not cold. Empty, but not barren. Beyond calm, beyond relief, this was... peace. A key turned in a lock. Did she just get her Aether? Pan's core is peace? Peace Corps? Did Pan join the Peace Corps?
Wow. Incredible.
As soon as I read a key turned in a lock, I fucking knew. Because you always call it unlocking your Aether. And I've been wondering when we were going to see someone unlock it on screen for reference.
We've seen it.
Oh!
I saw a climber unlock it.
What?
I saw a climber unlock it.
Who?
A climber.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But hers was like one of those special situations, not a standard one. Where she like got a special move with it. So is this what it feels like?
Well,
A key turns in a lock?
Yeah.
Oh, man. The horse head popped. That description was no simplification. Like a balloon, the horse head suddenly exploded outwards with a loud bang! Scraps of skin flying in every direction. A ghostly and warped face, one of the awakenings that made a Palatine, flew out of the wreckage, making it only a few meters away before dissipating into Aether. The flower eye swiveled around to look at the injury, the pupil constricting to a pinprick. What the? Everything turned in a moment. Palatine, still consumed by a fatal instant of confusion, looked down at its ruined hand. Huh? If I could do the voice right, the voice I would have given Palatine would be Bill Cipher, but I can't hit that just right. Tiny tadpoles and frogs began to peel away from its legs, skittering off into non-existence. Palatine's hefty body lurched to one side, almost falling into its back like the crab it so resembled. The beast's pupil flicked madly this way and that, trying to locate the source of this danger, rambling words pouring out of it. What? What is this? A joke? This has to be a joke. Knock knock, who's there? We are here. No, I am here. This is no democracy, but gestalt. I am at the top of the world and the bottom of the world, and all the rest are my skin. Skin and meat and bone do not go their separate ways. A spider does not declare independence from its web. No, we don't like this. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. The pupil flicked forward again, meeting the wide-eyed gaze of Dragon Hadrian. He had both eyes again, the second settling into its socket even as Palatine looked at him. A crazed grin stretched across his face, eyes bright and gleaming like something out of a nightmare, even as his missing limbs gruesomely spun themselves back into existence. The boy who should have been dead licked his lips, and with contemptuous ease, seized tight hold of the finger that was impaling him. You can't ignore me anymore, can you? Dragon giggled. Gemini railgun! A flash of blue and Palatine leapt backwards, green ichor spilling from the stump of its newly severed arm. A knowable fury... I assume fury. Oh no. Unknowable furry blobs oozed from the wound, rolling away and dissipating as well. Eye flicking this way and that madly, Palatine skittered back and forth, wary of the cloud of dust that Hadrian's attack had kicked up. Agitated words screeched out from the cracks spreading across its skull. Should be dead! Should be dead! Should be dead! Should be dead! Well, Dragon Hadrian's smug voice rang out through the chamber. Obviously, I'm not. The smog cleared, and there stood Dragon Hadrian, smirking and standing on one leg. The second one finished forming a moment later, barefoot tapping against the ground experimentally. After the beating he'd taken during the course of this fight, Dragon's clothes were little more than rags, but his body was now as pristine as if he'd just arrived. Save for one thing. He tore the hand out of his chest and tossed it on the ground. Tore the severed hand out of his chest and tossed it on the ground, the hole filled in with a fuzz of blue aether. He sneered at Palatine, spreading his arms wide. Care to try again? True rage can only be born against something that can affect you. I, who cannot be affected by anything, know nothing but annoyance. My killing intent is born of irritation and never fails. Never fails, never fails, never fails. Not once in my life, has it ever failed. Everything I have ever commanded to die has done so. I own a brood of bloodstains across the galaxy, across existence, across everything. Die, die, die! I command it, die, die, die! It is our wish, die, die, die! And yet... He's standing there. He's still standing there. He's standing there alive, and he's talking, and he's breathing. He isn't dead as he should be. He isn't a smear as he should be. I'm trying to find my binary conversion. I don't have it ready. I didn't think there'd be more.
Palatine molding experience.
Motherfucker, 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 motherfucker. That's what he sounds like. He. Billie Jean is not my lover. Sorry. Dragon Hadrian! Ah, so this is rage. So this is hatred. Oh, enchanté, an intriguing experience. We thank you, Dragon Hadrian, for allowing us to feel this novel new emotion. We're not even mad. We're not even mad in the slightest. Let it not be said that we are ungrateful. Oh, Dragon Hadrian. You've given us a gift, a present wrapped in our own bloody humiliation. Skin, 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 skin. Repayment! Repayment must be given. Yes, 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 yes. Ah, a soft and vacuous madness dripping through the seam. We are the piss, our thoughts splintering. There was no time to waste on madness. There was no time to waste on madness. Hang on, I'm trying to copy this.
It's so mad.
Calm. We are going to die. There is no question about that now. The gestalt of our consciousness is collapsing. Individuality is all but lost. It is not feasible for enough aether core to become the new linchpin. Those secondary components are already far too corroded. All that remains now is spite, the rage, the hatred. These sensations must be indulged. Ignorance, the ability of the core has been lost. Physical attacks are impractical with our form collapsing. Analyzing opponent. Bodily damage will be ineffective with Dragon Hadrian's regeneration speed, noted increase of 100%. As such, direct assault on target's aether will be more effective, calculating ability development, compiling information on aether viruses and accelerating physical decomposition to enhance speed of ability development, completed in 3.13 seconds. Deploying ability, die. Palatine exploded. Like a bullet firing from a chamber, it sacrificed what remained of its body to fire an ability. As the countless awakenings dispersed and disappeared, the attack rushed forth in a flash of vivid purple, a spectral human face launching towards Dragon, eyes wide open and bleeding, an ear-piercing scream radiating through the cavern and cracking the walls. This ability had no name. This ability hadn't been designed with a specific effect in mind. When it struck Dragon Hadrian, it would create pain. The vanishing remnants of Palatine had thought no deeper than that. Its speed was absolute. Its accuracy was impeccable. The virus struck Dragon Hadrian before he could so much as blink, and instead his eyes widened as he felt the hostility take hold. Perhaps the virus would attack his body. Perhaps it would ruin his mind. Perhaps it would even destroy his aether entirely. Oh no, his channels will be shattered! Nobody would ever know. Sagittarius barrier! After all, she was the one that saved. She was the one that healed. Is this the counter technique to deal with a Clima? Has it ever been so over for a Clima?
It was already pretty over.
Oh my god, this is like the Linden of Aetheral Space. Crazy. Her ability had already been created long ago. The orange glow took hold of Dragon's body, running up and down his form as if it was scanning him. Pan's aether did not take the form of sparks. Instead, it looked almost like dust, countless strands of barely visible hairs or strings coursing around Dragon's form. With each pass, the malice of Palatine abated slightly from Dragon's aether, and after 3, the virus had been excised entirely from this world. Dragon blinked, looking down at the orange aurora, his eyes still wide and a half-formed smile on his face. Pan, he whispered. You. But there were still eyes on him. This wasn't the time or place to have a conversation like that. Okay, but this has to be cheating for the Dawn contest, right? She's basically a second person now, with her own aether. This wasn't the time or place to be anything but strength. Instead, he took a deep breath and closed his eyes, opening them again with a cold gleam. He marched across the ravaged floor of the cavern, to the spot where Palatine had exploded, to the spot where the last remnant of the Aetheral Awakening now lingered. Wrinkling his nose, he looked down at it as if it were a bug. A single rose, resting on the ground, staring up at Dragon with an impotent, quivering eyeball. He pointed a lazy finger down at it. Gemini shotgun, and completed the exorcism. The Dawn contest had entered its final act. Notice there's no end of act, though, at the end of this. Gemini World.
What was that? You disappeared.
I teleport behind you. You weren't watching my arm that I recorded. Fucking Gemini kills you. I love that it's Sagittarius. Did she steal that from Dragon's Zodiac move?
It's an homage.
So much like Dragon got shotgun from Skipper, Pan got the Zodiac from Dragon. That's really cute. Is there a specific reason it's Sagittarius thematically? I don't know much about Zodiac stuff.
I believe that one's more associated with healing.
Aww. If Dragon had sided with Musashi in the IF, would his abilities have been Capricorn?
Yes, they would have.
Capricorn shotgun. No, it would have been Capricorn thruster or whatever.
Oh no. In Capricorn timeline, it goes fucking psycho mode.
What is his, what kind of moves does he develop in Capricorn? Because he doesn't copy off Skipper, presumably. Does he still do the record manifest, but with different things? Hello?
Sorry.
Did I lose you? This is so sad. I lost Tan Honey. Are you alive? Dead boy? Oh, okay. Waiting 1,000 seconds with Tan Honey. I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come and understand.
Thanks.
You back?
Thanks. I'll make it
Alright.
very easy to tell on the audio when to cut.
Yeah. So, my question was, when is the what are the abilities in the Capricorn that Dragon develops? Are they still recording based, but just different themes, or is it whole different?
Vampiric is how I would describe them.
Oh, that's cool!
The battle does not go well for him, and he ends up in a state.
Hunger Madra Dragon?
Basically.
Oh!
He's more like a
That's
cryptid
so cool!
in that timeline.
Oh, does he have the hunger arm?
No, but he's all fucked up. He's villainous.
Oh, that's cool. Does Skipper die in that fight?
In Capricorn's
Or
timeline,
does-
yes.
What? Who lives? Who villainously like fucks him up body wise?
Bruno and Serena.
He never meets. Ooh, he never meets Pan either, so he doesn't heal.
No,
he's all like
permanently fucked up for like a Darth Vader sort of cryptid.
God, when are you gonna write Capricorn? I really want to read it. Alternate timeline, Dragon. The only one who decides what happens to you is me.
So he's full of revenge brains in that timeline.
He's full of what?
Full of vengeance brains.
Oh, against Bruno and Serena?
Yeah.
That's so sad. How long would it be as an IF? Like a one chapter or like a whole arc? Or
Like
its
4
own
chapters, I would say, would be compressed timeline-wise, with like, time skip a bit between.
God, do you still have plans to ever write it?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and
the main timeline.
of course. And we still have Aetheral questions. I think we only have one.
Is this the one about the influencers?
Yes, some influencers in the UAP and supremacy.
So we know Tai, as I get to.
We know Tai Nagatsu, of
Nagatsu,
course.
yes. Who's Tai Zangatsu? Who am I talking about?
Tai Senpaku.
That's like the fake Shintan.
Yeah.
It's a fake Tai Nagatsu.
So I have a proposal for you that I also liked.
Okay.
So to go along with the magical girl streamer, I had a concept for a UAP soldier that was like she had like a VTuber rig in her helmet, so she's like a VTuber soldier while she like has her in the corner while she's like fighting wars.
I don't think that would fly in the UAP military.
It would only be on when it's allowed to. It would be like no, because you know how like the U.S. military has like recruitment shit. It would be like used like for recruitment to try and get guys to join.
Oh, I see.
It's like. Yeah. So,
this is me with Catapiro. He's a super cool captain. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. Who are some?
To be in the video, he's visibly unhappy.
But yeah, who are some influencers? Give us some ideas.
Well, there's all sorts of in the Supremacy, as we have seen in the RP. You have return people who are like. The Supremacy has lost its way so much hate. Back in the days of Boris the Berserk or whatever the fuck.
As statue posting.
Yeah.
We used to be a civilization. Posting ads from 50 years ago. Old halcyon ads. It's like we used to be a society. What about the UAP?
A UAP? It would relatively you would have a more normal media landscape, to be honest. So
give me an example of the influencer. Just name one.
Well, you'd have like you would have there's a one of the members of the governing council. One of the kids is an influencer, and they post about the high-rise life in. On
like a flexing account?
Yeah, exactly. On the top levels of fucking.
Well, do you know like van life people? There's got to be like spaceship life people,
of course,
right?
You got plenty of those. You got Big Scruff, and
because like in a sci-fi setting, all the interesting
like shipment guy. He's a spacer. And he just goes to be like, just landed at Talden. Here's my.
Oh, look at this! I picked up a space kitty at my.
Here's my review of the Starport bathroom. Not one of the best.
He found like a space kitty. Oh my goodness. Well, like, because the thing is, like, all the interesting characters in a sci-fi story by nature travel, but, like, most people are stuck to planets, so they're probably like, man, I wish I lived in this spaceship.
I wish I could travel with Scruff. Big Scruff.
Yeah. I love the spacer trucker.
What you need to understand about going out of space is that pissing feels weird.
I love the idea, you know those guys who do, like, the primitive cooking and make, like, masterwork, like, food?
Yeah.
I like the idea of, like, Aether guy who goes to planets like Bone Heaven and stuff and, like, hunts, like, Aether abominations or, like, paleo beasts and, like, does specialty cooking videos. And he does, like, the wildlife cooking.
Would, like, give you, like,
yeah, and he, like, actually, and he, like, he's not just, like, a tough guy. He, like, he does the seasoning and he, like, shows you how to count the calories and portion it.
Yeah, like a doctor.
He's like, that's good eating.
He's like, will this give me super cancer?
Yeah.
It's marginal.
There's a radiation rating.
Well, some of them would just be designed that if you eat it, it'll fuck you up.
Well, maybe his Aether ability, aside from fighting, he has one that's like, my stomach can process anything, so then he can give you taste ratings on things people can't normally eat, like forbidden snacks. Like, I could imagine him, like, eating, like, a dish detergent, like Tide Pod, and being like, see, it does taste good, but you can't eat it, it'll kill you. But not me, because I have the super stomach.
Do not do what I do.
Yeah, pretty much. People do it anyways, all the time. Alright. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.